Hey folks, it's Richard Rost. It's that time of year again. This is a repost of one of my favorite videos, my holiday greeting cards video. I know it's from 2021, but hey, a lot of you who are watching me today weren't around in 2021, so you might have missed this one. But feel free to enjoy. And no, this is not your tech help video for today. I got another new video coming up in just a little bit here, but in the meantime, enjoy this one. Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I am your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a holiday greeting card database in Microsoft Access. Today's question comes from Cassidy in Lakewood, Ohio, one of my platinum members. Cassidy says, what's the best way to track my Christmas card list in Access? I'd like to keep track of who is getting a card this year, when the last time I sent them a card was, when the last time they sent me a card was, and of course it'd be nice to actually print the labels from inside Access. Well, sure thing, Cassidy. This is something that's actually pretty easy to do in Microsoft Access. Let's see how. First, a few prerequisites. I want you to watch my blank database video. This is how I set up my blank database template that's got a customer form, a main menu, and it shows you all the settings that I like to use in my databases. So go watch that first and download a copy of my free sample template. You should know how to do query criteria. If not, go watch that video. These are all free on my website, by the way. When it comes time to mark your Christmas cards sent for this year, you're going to want to know how to do update queries and append queries, so go watch those videos. And I'm going to use just a couple of lines of VBA code. Go watch my free Intro to VBA lesson. VBA is not difficult. Don't be scared of it. It's a 20-minute introductory video to teach you everything you need to know to start programming with VBA. Even if you don't plan on becoming a programmer, once you learn a little I can't say VBA today. Once you learn a little bit of VBA, you really make your databases a lot more powerful. So go watch that first. Okay, so here I am in a copy of my TechHelp free database template. You can download a copy of this off my website. It's absolutely free. It's got a simple customer list. It's got a customer form. And these are basically the start of making our Christmas card list, right? Or our holiday card list, whatever you want to call it. Now, we already have a field in here called is active. It's a yes/no field, and we can use that to determine if this person is still on our card list. So we don't have to actually rename the field. You can leave it is active if you want to. But I'm just going to change the label, right, on Christmas card list, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, just so you know what that means. And I'm going to take this notes, just shrink it up a little bit. We don't need that big. Okay, so we have a field indicating whether or not they're on our Christmas card list. Now, let's go back over here to the customer list. We'll use this as our master list. Let's design this guy. Now, we really don't need state on here. We really don't need credit limits. So let's get rid of those for a minute here. And I am going to slide this over here. So let's put in here the active field. We can just go over to the other form and copy it, right? Click on this guy, copy, and then paste. Paste it right in here. Slide it over. And we just want the checkbox. I'm going to actually take this label, cut it out, paste it up here in the header, and slide it over here. And we'll just put on list in here. Okay. And we'll want to make that white so we can actually see it. So let's format paint over this guy. Click. And you can go to the Format tab, or I put it up here on my Quick Launch toolbar too. Either one works. There we go. So that's how we know if they're on our Christmas card list or not. We'll do something with customer sense. All right, so let's save that. Close it. I'm going to close this one too. Let's see what we got. Okay, looking pretty good. This is how we can keep track of who's on our Christmas card list. Now, Cassidy also wants to track when the last time that she sent the card out to this person was and when they sent one in to us. It's always nice. Like one of my famous comics, Sebastian Maniscalco, he's got in his routine. He's like, every Italian wedding, they keep that little book. So that when you go to a wedding, you know, okay, what did they give us last time when one of our kids, you know, same thing here, right? Well, they haven't sent us a Christmas card in 3 years, so I don't know. So we've got customer sense as a date. We can use this as, you know, the date we last sent. We'll call it last sent. And we got last received too. So let's go back here. Let's go to the customer table, design view. I'll find customer since. We really don't need it for this. I mean, if you want to keep all these existing fields, leave them and just add new ones. But I'll call this one last sent. Last sent, right? Date time. And we'll do last received as a date time. And I like to keep like stuff together, so I'm just going to slide that up there. Okay, close that. Back to the customer list, design view. Notice this automatically changed if you come in here. It changes the control source for you, but it leaves the name. I don't like that. That should be on my my list of suggestions for Microsoft. And I understand why they do that, but it's a little confusing for new users. So I'm going to just change the name also to last sent. And of course, we'll change the label across the top, last sent. And we got to add our last received. So we'll come over here, slide that over. And I'm just going to copy and paste this whole thing. Watch, copy, paste. Slide that over there like that. Slide that one next to it. All right, last. Now this is the label, so I'll just abbreviate RCVD. And in here, we want to pick last received. That. Copy and paste it over the name. All right, check our tab order while we're in here. Tab order, auto. Okay, so they're all in that order. Sometimes I like to keep the checkboxes at one end or the other. So let's move this on list over to the end here. Let's do this. I just think it looks a lot better. Keep the checkboxes on one end instead of in the middle of a bunch of text boxes. Yeah, that looks better. Then we got to do the tab order again, right? Tab order. Whoop. Detail, auto. Okay. Save it. Close it. Open it. Looks better. Okay, we're on a roll here. Let's add this last received field to our single form, to our main customer form here. Let's go to design view, and let me get rid of this property sheet. Let me slide you over here a little bit. Let's do this. I'm going to shrink this notes up even more. We really don't need this notes for this example, so let's move you down here for a minute. And customer sent is right there. That's our last sent, right? Last sent. And we need last received now too, right? Actually, let's change the name of this guy. Last sent. And copy, paste. We'll make you last received. Copy, paste. Paste. And we'll just put a little space in there. All right. And family size, you might want to keep. Credit limit, you can use that for tracking like a gift amount if you want to, right? Put in here like gift amount. You can rename the field if you want to, but if you want to keep track of, for the kids or the cousins or the aunts and uncles, what size gift did you give them last year? $100, $200, whatever. That's up to you. Whatever you want to do, have fun with it. All right, let's put notes back up in here. Okay, and we'll slide you over like that. Everybody's lining up nice on top of each other. All right, save it. Now here's one of those quick instances where when I tell you it makes it a whole lot better for your database if you learn just a teeny tiny bit of VBA. Watch this. Let's say you get a card in the mail. You want to open up this person's record and you want to just mark that you received a Christmas card today. Well, wouldn't it be nice if you could just double click on last received and instead of having to type it all in or go to the little calendar, just double click on it and set it to today, right? Watch this. Just go to events, find the on double click event, hit the dot right there. All right, that opens up the VB code window. Now, if you watched my intro to VBA lesson, you'll see that there's an option you can set so it goes right into here instead of asking you what builder you want. So right in here, we're just going to say last received equals date. That's it. It puts today's date in the last received field. That's all. One line of code. And I like to indicate anything you can double click on and something happens, like back here, right? You could double click on one of these to open up the customer form. I like to make it blue. So I'm going to come in here to format, drop this down, and pick like that blue. That just tells the user you can double click on that and something happens. So I open up Jim Kirk and I got a card today, double click, boom, there it is. Puts today's date right in there. See that? Okay, so now we've got who's on the Christmas card list. So let's make some mailing labels. First, I'm going to make a query so that it just brings in people who are on the Christmas list. Okay, so let's go to create query design. And I'm going to bring in customer T. And we are going to say that I want, what do you want on the address list? You want the first name, last name, address, city, state, zip, country. And we want is active. And this is going to have to be equal to true. So this is where that query criteria comes into play. Criteria is true. And I don't even need to see that in the query. All right. So now when I run this, there's what we got. Okay. Let's save this as my customer active queue. A customer active query, and we can use this to make our mailing labels. All right. Here we go. Create labels under the reports section. Nice little wizard pops up. Find the label that you use. Me personally, I use Avery labels, and the one I like is the 5160, which is 30 on a page. Where are you? 51. Gotta go up a bit. Takes a minute to find these. There's so many of them in here now. This list used to be a lot smaller. There you are. All right, 30 per page. It's 3 across, 10 up and down. I mean, you might want larger labels for your Christmas labels if you want to put them on a nice card or on the outside of an envelope or whatever. Pick whichever one you want. Next. All right, here's the default font settings. These are all fine for me. Next. What do you want your prototype label to look like? I cover this, by the way, in my Access Beginner Level 1 class. So if you don't know how to make mailing labels, go watch my free Access Level 1 class. It's 4 hours long, covers all the basics, tables, queries, reports, right, mailing labels, all that stuff, okay? Absolutely free. On my website, on my YouTube channel, go watch it. Now, it's at this point, I'm looking at this thing thinking to myself, wait a minute, the customer ID should not be in here. I goofed. I actually had customer T selected when I clicked on label. So by default, it's going to use the customer T instead of my customer active queue to make this set of mailing labels. But that's okay. We're going to do it anyways. The fields will be the same. I'm going to show you how to change it in just a minute. All right. So first name, space, last name, enter, address, enter, city, space, or you can put a comma in there if you're one of those people, comma, space, post office doesn't care. State, space, zip, enter, country. All right, there's your prototype label. Next. What do you want to sort by? Totally up to you. I'll go last name and then first name. Next. All right. See the labels as they will look printed. Modify the design. Let's go to modify the design and then finish. Okay, there's my basic prototype label. All right, it saves it for us as labels customer T. First thing I want to do is change that record source. So double click right here, go to data, change customer T to customer active queue. These fields are all the same, but it's only the active customers, that query we just made. All right, so now let's save it, close it, close it. I'm going to rename it because I don't like that name. First of all, no spaces, right? If you watch my Access Beginner 1 class, no spaces in our object names. Right click, rename. We're going to call this, let's call it Christmas Label R, whatever you want to call it. Okay, right click, print preview. This usually comes up. For some reason, the wizard always makes the label just slightly too wide. And it's another one of my pet peeves for Microsoft. Just hit OK, and then we're going to go into Design View, and we're going to make this label just a teeny tiny bit more narrow, like 1 pip there. And now it should work just fine. All right, print preview. There. All right, it's one of my pet peeves, I know. Okay, so let's make this more Christmassy. Let's put a little Christmas tree in here. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to make these labels don't have to be that big. Let's close it up like that, just a little bit, resize those. I'm going to put a little tiny Christmas tree right there. Okay. Go to your favorite web-based clip art place, wherever you want to go. There's a whole ton of them. Find some royalty-free art. I found this nice picture of a Christmas tree, which I then shrank in Microsoft Paint. And now I'm going to take a little screen clip of it like this with my screen clip tool. And then I'm going to paste it right here in the detail section. Oh, it made it nice and big. Look at that. It happens every single time you bring in clip art. I don't know why. It just does. I'm going to slide this, make that a little bit smaller like that. That's the spot I want it in. Then you got to resize your label again. I know it's a pain. And you got to bring this up to right about there. Nope, that's not working. Okay. That's another kind of bug in Access. When you bring in clip art, it resizes the detail section. I don't know why. But I'm showing you all these little things that irritate me, so when they happen to you, you know it's not just you. These are little quirks of Microsoft Access. Now this guy, we're going to change the size mode to, I'm going to change it to stretch. There's center, zoom, and stretch. Oh, not that one. Clip, zoom, and stretch. I don't know why I was thinking center. clip, stretch, and zoom. Let's go to stretch. All right, it'll stretch to whatever your outline is there. And we're going to go to the Format tab, and we're going to say the shape outline is transparent, and the shape fill is transparent as well, even though you'll get your background that you copied. All right, save it now, close it, and let's print preview one more time. And there they go. It's not that bad. That looks nice, right? Got 3 people on our Christmas list. There's our 3 little labels. Okay. It'll look better when you print it out. It gives you like a rough estimate in print preview. But that looks nice. Okay. Now we need a button on here to print this guy out. Now, there is a button in the wizard that you can use to print or preview a report. I don't like using it, and I'll explain why in just a minute. All right, it's in the command button wizards. If you go to form design, okay, you can go add a button, drop it down here. Okay, you can go report operations, you can go preview or open a report, whatever you want to do. Okay, pick your Christmas label. All right, I'll just put in here Christmas label. We're going to delete this in a minute anyways, but I just want to show you what the problem is. Okay, there's my button. Save it, close it. All right, open up my customer list. Now, it works just fine. There's my preview. Okay, but watch this. If I put Deanna Troy on the list and hit Christmas label, I still only get 3. Deanna's missing. Why is that? Well, notice the pencil there. This record is still dirty. I checked the box, but this record doesn't get saved unless you move off of it to another record. Now when I hit Christmas label, you can see there's all 4 records. Okay, same thing in reverse. If I click on that, the record's still dirty. I'm still seeing all 4 records. So we need to refresh these records before opening up the report. Okay? Now that's not something you can do with the wizard. Yeah, you could tell your users manually, you got to make sure when you do this, you move to a different record. But that's going to confuse people, especially if you're building a database for someone else or even yourself. If you got hundreds of people on here, you might not notice that. And then you print out your labels and you're missing one. So that's why, again, I say learn some VBA. Delete that button. All right, let's grab a button, drop it down here. We're going to cancel the wizard. Okay, print labels. I like to preview stuff first and just look it over before I send it right to the printer. If you want to send it right to the printer, that's fine. That's up to you. You like to waste paper? You like to waste labels? Go right ahead. All right, right-click, build event. Oh, I forgot to name the button. It's Command 20. I don't want Alex yelling at me. Let's go back. Sorry. You know, I've been building databases with Access since the early 1990s, 30-some years, right? Well, almost 30 years, I should say. And I always still forget this step. Come in here, because you can leave it at Command 20, and Access doesn't care. I care, though, and Alex cares. Alex will yell at me. All right, print, label, button. Now we can go right-click, build event. That's because when you're in here and you're looking down your code, now I know what this button is for. Okay, here we go. 2 lines of code. 2 lines of code. All right, do command dot open report. What's the report name? Christmas. Label R, comma. This one's going to be preview. AC view preview. That's all you need. But we got to refresh before we do that. So right above it, go me.refresh. That's it. That refreshes the record, saves any changes you might have made to the current record, and then previews the report. Save it. Come back over here. Let's close that. Open it back up again. All right, we got 4 people on the list right now. I'm going to turn off Deanna Troy, hit print labels, and there we go. See, the record refreshed first, and there we go. Okay, very important. All right. That's why it's important to learn a little tiny bit of VBA. If you want to learn more about printing mailing labels, by the way, I've got a seminar that I put together. It's about an hour long, but it covers some of the things that people always ask me about when they're doing mailing labels. For example, inserting blank fields on the top. Okay. If you've got those sheets of mailing labels and you've printed 3 already, and you want to continue using that same sheet, but you don't want to waste, a whole brand new one, but you don't want to use those first 3 spots, I'll show you how to skip spots. Making X copies of a label. If you want to make a whole full page of return address labels, for example, I do that all the time. You want to make 30 of them at one shot. Boom, there you go. All kinds of different stuff. I'll put a link to this in the description down below the video if you want to go check it out. All right, and of course, we got to pretty this up, right? This is a holiday thing. If you celebrate Christmas or Hanukah or Kwanzaa or Solstice or Festivus, whatever you celebrate, right? Make it look pretty. So we're going to design view. I'll change this to, holiday cards. I actually had a customer get mad at me once because I kept referencing holiday instead of Christmas. Yeah, I love Christmas myself, but this time of year, there's hundreds of different celebrations, and based on whatever your tradition or religion or whatever is, I try to be inclusive. I got customers all around the world, so I like to make sure that everyone's included. And of course, my label just resized. I covered this in one of my previous tech helps. I always forget to do it myself. If you resize this guy like this, right? If you want to change this caption without that label resizing, change it over here. There you go, right? And let's make this guy, I don't know, let's go red background, right, with white foreground. Let's make this green. Good Christmas colors. Here we go. There we go, right? All right, save this. Maybe come out here, change this guy, right? Design view. Let's change this header up top. Let's go with the same red. Make the bottom red too. And we'll make the center green. Let's do that light green there. And you gotta also, don't forget to change that alternate background color. I'm gonna set that to no color. All right, save that, close it, take a peek, open it back up. Holiday cards, customer list. Oh, it's looking festive. Save that, open this one up, change this one if you want to. Right click, design view, maybe make this one light red on the background. Oh, 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 there we go. That's good. Pretty, there we go. Now, if you want to learn more about building a holiday greeting card database, in the extended cut for the members, I cover some more stuff. I'll show you how to make a custom greeting line for each person, for each customer. So Joe Smith, right? You might have Joe and his wife, and they might be Joe and Sue Smith. All right, Jim Kirk might be by himself. Jean-Luc Picard might be the Picard family, right? So, for example, if I come into Joe Smith's record, you can see we're going to add person 1 and person 2. And then the greeting can be automatic, or you can change it manually. And the automatic is going to look at this and say, okay, if the last names are the same, you can do Joe and Sue Smith. If they're different, if this is Jones, for example, it'll change it to Joe Smith and Sue Jones. See that? Or you can come in here and type in whatever you want. The Smith hyphen Jones family, whatever they want to be called, right? There you go. So it's automatic or manual. Then we'll make conditional formatting to see the missing data. So you can see here right away with Jim Kirk, I'm missing his city. Okay. I'm missing a state here for this one. Okay. And you can show active only or show all of them. So you can only, if you only want to see the active ones, okay, and you don't want to see the people who aren't getting a Christmas card, okay, there's that there. But before I let you leave, we got some bonus material. Cassidy also wants to see how to mark that she sent all these Christmas cards out, right? We've got a way to track when we receive them with that field we added. But I just want, with one click, to mark everybody who's currently on the Christmas list that, okay, you got a Christmas card this year, set the date, and just do it in one click. How do you do that? Well, this is your Christmas bonus. Are you ready? Okay, so we got this guy. All right. So we're going to create a query. We're going to create an update query to update this last sent date for everyone who's currently on the list. All right, that's why I wanted you to watch that update query video. All right, so create query design. Now, we're going to be pulling in records from the customer table, and we're going to change this to an update query. Okay, what are we going to update? We're going to update the last sent field, and we're going to change it to today's date, update to right there, put the date function in there. That's date, open, close parenthesis. Well, we need criteria. Is active has to be true. Okay, so that's how you make an update query. We're going to change all the records where is active is true. We're going to set last date equal to today's date. All right, save this as mark card sent Q. I'm going to copy that to my clipboard so I got it. Okay. Now, I could just run this query if I wanted to right from here manually, but I'm going to put a button down here that says mark cards sent. All right, so form design, grab a button, drop it there. cancel the wizard. There, yeah, you can run it from here. There's a run, open query from here. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to come in here, and we're going to do a little bit of VBA, because we're learning VBA, right? All right, mark as sent. And, all right, ready? Right-click, build event. Oh, I forgot to name my button again. I don't want Alex yelling at me. Sorry. Gotta keep doing it. All right, mark, sent, button, and someone just beamed in. Okay, right-click, build event, do command, open query. Almost everything in Access that you're going to use starts with do command. Do command something. All right, so do command is a special set of Access commands. Okay, what query are we running? That guy. That's it. And you can message box done if you want to, or just beep, whatever you want to do to indicate that it's done. Okay. So let's save it. Control S. Come back over here. Close this. Open it up again. And now let's hit mark as sent. Okay, there we go. Now, these guys updated, but they didn't show. So we got to requery this list too. Sometimes when you change records with a query behind the scenes, all right, until you close and reopen this form, these records don't appear to have changed at all. So let me do this. Let me cheat. I'm going to go back to 1-1 on some of these dates here, so I can show you how this works. All right, let's go back to that code. All right, when we're done running that query, I want to say me.requery. Now there's requery and there's refresh, and I got a whole video on the difference between the two. Okay, refresh is basically good for one record. You're on a record, you want to save any changes, refresh any calculations on that record. Okay, whereas me requery is usually used to pull the information for the entire form out of the table, back from the table, right? So I got a whole list of people here. Me.requery tells this form, hey, go to the table and just bring all the records back in as if you were opening up fresh, right? Whereas refresh just refreshes that one record. Okay, so now that I got this in here, save it, come back out here, and now mark as sent. Boom, and you can see they both updated. Okay, or all three of them really. All right, whoever was on the list. Let me put this person on the list. Okay, and now mark as sent. Well, I got to refresh that. We might need to put a refresh in there first too. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, okay, hold on. Yeah, we got to refresh first. That's good that I brought that up. So we got to come in here before we run that query. We have to me.refresh. See, if you're on a record that you're editing, you want to save that record first, then run the query, then requery the form. See, it's all about timing. Okay, it's all about timing. So if I come in here now, put him on the list, mark as sent, and it updated. See? Okay. And what is that you say? Another bonus? It's a Christmas miracle. More bonus material. Well, it sometimes is nice to be able to go back through time and say, oh, when did I send you a Christmas card last year or the year before or the year before that? So if you watched the blank database template video, the one right after that, there's a couple of ones that follow that have more stuff. Okay. There's the customer database. Then I add contacts. You come over here and click on contacts. And a contact is basically whenever you talk to this customer, you put the contact in there, right? Fought the Klingons, blew up the Enterprise. And you can keep a track of all of the stuff that you talked with this customer about or things he did or whatever you want, contacts. Okay. Well, we can use this table to track when we send a Christmas card. All right, and when we click this button to mark as sent, we can put a record in that contact history using an append query. Append says add some stuff, add a record to the end of a table. That's what an append query is. And I got a whole video on that. I hope you watched it. It was in the prerequisites. If not, no big deal. I'm going to show you how to do it. Very similar to the other query. Create, query design. Where am I getting my records from? I'm getting them from the customer table. I'm going to get a list of customers, and I'm going to append records to the contact table. Okay, I'm pulling information. I want one record for each customer, and I'm going to add a record for each customer to the contact table. Okay, now, which customers? Well, is active, has to be true, criteria. See that new append to field there? Okay. Well, in the contact, we have to know who it is, right? So in the customer ID, right? I'm going to append the customer ID to the customer ID in the contact table. That's why I put it down here under append to. If it sees the same name, it'll put the append in there for you. And then in the description field, so down here, these are all fields from the contact table. These are all fields that you're adding to that table for. Okay, I'm gonna, you don't have to add all of them because you're gonna have default values for some of them. Like the contact date is set in the table as a default value. But I'm gonna add to the description. I'm gonna put just some text in here, and I'm gonna put in here inside of quotes, sent Christmas card, like that. And hit tab. Access calls it expression 1. That doesn't matter. That's me. Okay. Save it. We're going to call this mark card sent contact you. Okay. Close it. Go back to your code for that mark as sent button. You can right click, go to build event, or I keep the VB window open over here. Now, after you're done marking the card sent in the customer record, come down here and do command.open query. And then that guy. By the way, I should mention you might be getting warning messages when these things run. Okay. I got a whole TechHelp video on how to turn off warning messages like that. Okay. I'll put a link in the description down below if you want to go watch that. Or if you don't feel like turning off warnings on a system level, you can do this. You can say do command.set warnings false. That turns warnings off. Don't forget to turn them back on when you're done, though. Do command.set warnings true. That turns off all the system warnings. But whenever you run an action query, append, delete, make table, update, I couldn't think of the fourth one, it'll pop up that warning message. You're about to append 6 records. Are you sure you want to do this? So I usually turn those off on a system level. I find them annoying. But you can turn them off per use with those. All right. Save that. Now, ready? Mark as sent. Okay. Now, these 4 records in here should have a contact. When I go to Deanna's record, and go to contacts, sent Christmas card, today's date and time. If I go to me, sent Christmas card, there it is. What about Will Riker? Oh, no Christmas card for Will Riker. Will Riker's sad. Okay, just kidding. But you see how that works, right? It takes the customer table in, that's your input, all right, and it says it got to be active. And then I want to add a record to the contact table for each customer in their contact history. All right. Okay, so there you go. I hope you enjoyed your holiday greeting cards. Check out the extended cut if you want to learn more. And I've got a template that I put together that's got even more stuff in it. I call it the Holiday Greeting Cards Template. It's a developer level template, so there's some programming involved, but it's not that tough. You don't have to get involved with the programming if you just want to use the template. If you want to modify it for your own needs, then yeah, you'll want to learn a little bit more, programming. But if you just want to use this, then, and it works just out of the box. Lots of extra features. You can actually print actual postcards. Okay, I've got them where you could do like a 4 on a page, but you could change the size easily if you want to. You can customize the design, so you can move these around and set multiple cards up. Obviously, you have to get the graphics from somewhere. There's lots of free, royalty-free graphics online. You can grab any of that stuff. And you can specify what card each customer gets. So if you got a bunch of people who want Merry Christmas cards, you could send them Christmas cards. If you want Happy Holidays, you could send them those cards. You got a few people that are Jewish, you could send them the Happy Hanukah holiday cards. Okay? Whatever you want to make, it's totally up to you. You can have an unlimited number of cards in the system, and you want to print them all out, there you go. Send them all to the people. You can manually position those fields. You can move the greeting. You can move the text down here. And then for each card template you set up it says all inside of Access. There's no Word or Publisher or any of that stuff. All in Access. You can manually position the fields. We'll show you how to change fonts with the font dialog box. All kinds of stuff. Lots more. It's the Holiday Greeting Cards template. I'll put a link in the link section down below. You'll find it on my website. And I hope you learned some stuff today. Whatever you celebrate this year, Christmas, Hanukkah, Solstice, Festivus, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, I hope you have a happy holiday. Thank all of you very much for a great year for me so far. I've really enjoyed making these TechHelp videos for you guys. And I'm not done yet. It's only the 18th. Today's the 18th of December. So you guys, you still got some time to get your Christmas cards out if you want to get them out before the 25th. There's like 5 mailing days left, which usually takes 3 or 4 days for a postcard to get someplace. So get on it. But no, I'll have some more tech help videos coming up before the end of the year. But hope you guys learned some stuff, and keep watching. How do you become a member? Click on the join button below the video. After you click the join button, you'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks. Silver members and up will get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class each month, and more. Gold members get access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus my code vault, where I keep tons of different functions that I use. You'll also get a higher priority if you decide to submit any tech help questions to me, and you'll get one free expert class each month after you finish the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks, plus even higher priority for tech help questions, access to all of my full beginner courses for every subject, and one free developer class each month after you finish the expert classes. These are the full-length courses found on my website, not just for access too. I also teach Word, Excel, Visual Basic, and lots more. You can now become a Diamond sponsor and have your name or company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown in each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. But don't worry, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free, and click on the bell icon to select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Make sure you click the Show More link down below the video to find additional resources and links. You'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted, so if you'd like to get an email every time I post a video, click on the link to join my mailing list. Even if you don't want to become a member, feel free to donate to my tip jar. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got puppies to feed. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access. It's over 4 hours long, and I just updated it for 2021. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below that you can click on. And also, if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. Yep, that's all, $1, and it's free for all members of my YouTube channel at any level, even supporters. Want to have your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my Tech Help page on my website. You can send me your question there. While you're on my site, feel free to stop by the Access Forum. Lots of good conversations happening there. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Once again, my name is Richard Ross. Thank you for watching this Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something today. I'll see you again soon.